Hi, I'm Jeremy Scott and welcome to the Jeremy Scott Spiritual Podcast, the podcast that takes a no-frills approach to all things spiritual. Hi everyone, how you doing? In a different area to record this particular episode, a nice little park area. However, as it's very windy, despite being a very nice day, I've had to sit in a shaded area, a bit sheltered from the wind, but you're going to get some background traffic noise, no doubt, because it is next to a busy road. Apologies for that in advance. Okay, so my question this time around is, how alone are we, as in the only planet to have life on it? How alone are we in that respect? So I've noticed just recently there's been a lot more reports of UFO sightings, and in fact that's been building up over the last couple of years, and also there's a lot more focus on mediums or psychics who are channeling galactic beings, who are in touch with those who they say are the Galactic Federation. There's those who are followers of New Earth kind of belief, or is it a belief? You know, New Earth. What would you call it? I'm not sure. Let's just talk belief for now. So that's, you know, we are approaching that time when galactic beings will contact us if they haven't already done so. There are those over the years, obviously, since the early days of UFO sightings, that say that beings from other planets walk among us, you know, and I know they can get a bit wacky, you know, seemingly wacky anyway, when we think of who were once prominent reporters such as David Icke, who claim, you know, that there are those in power who are lizard beings encased in human skin, and you know, and they include the royal family in that, as it happens. But I think that there was a comedy show in America, I think it was kind of based on that, because Third Rock from the Sun, you know, I think they were lizard beings. They'd come from some other planet and came here to have a look-see, to see what was going on. Quite a funny show. But whether you believe that or not, there does appear to be something happening, doesn't there? There seems to be an increase in these sightings of UFOs, as I said, you know, or of strange objects all around, not just in America, you know, all around our planet, all around Mother Gaia, different places. You know, mainly before it is all about the USA and certain military installations and things like that, where these things were sighted, or out in the sticks somewhere far away from normal habitation. But as we know, I mean, in I think it was World War II, we had the Foo Fighters. I don't mean the group, you know, they're not that old, but you had the Foo Fighters. These were mysterious objects which seemed to be buzzing aircraft during World War II. Americans at the time, and I think the British as well, they were thinking it was some kind of German Nazi secret weapon, and the Nazis were thinking it was some kind of American or British secret weapon. You know, so they were at odds with each other in that sense. So there's a lot going on, and has been ever since, you know, that increase in the 60s, 50s, 60s and so on. And I've seen recently something that was on think it was on TikTok, they had one of these lives, and it showed like someone reporting to like a Congress committee or something like that, and they were stating the proof of these objects which were being examined and it's been kept hidden by the FBI and the CIA in particular, and there was documents corroborating this, you know, that there were actually vehicles that have been captured or brought down, you know, and captured beings which have been either interned or if they're probably killed, most likely, and then examined and things like that. And I mean, it stretches right across, not just the United States, but into Canada, into Australia, and other parts of the world as well, where these things apparently have been going on all these decades and so on. Now, obviously, I haven't seen any of those documents, you know, but I don't even know if that clip was actually true, in the sense of, was it part of a film perhaps, or a documentary, or was it an actual Congress report? Because the actual footage seemed a bit old, as in if you go by the yes, it was in colour, but you know, it wasn't very sharp as you would expect something of the current age to be, as in images and so on. It seemed a bit fuzzy. Now, it could well have been recorded from a TV or something like that, or an old VHS tape or something, who knows. It may have been fairly recent, we don't know. But for whatever way you think, there seems to be something going on. Just letting this tractor go past, don't be behind me. Very loud. There's a grass cutter. We're out cutting the grass around my area today. Yeah, so whether you believe in these things or not, like I said, there does seem to be something going on. What exactly, we don't know. But it does beg the question, is there anything else out there? You know, and then there's a couple of ways you could look at that. You know, there are a few ways, in fact. I mean, if there is something out there, if there are other beings out there, have they visited before? Have they come to this planet before? And are they going to return? And if not, why not? You know, and are there beings out there who haven't visited this planet but are on the way to do so? Or are there actually beings out there who are visiting this planet? And why don't we know about it? Apart from, you know, I don't want to go down the conspiracy route and all that, apart from it being kept secret and so on like that. But surely, if there's such advanced beings, they'd be able to get around that secrecy kind of thing very easily. And certainly with some of the objects that were mentioned in that clip, one which is 26 miles across in diameter, then surely we would see it, and many more people would see it. It's supposed to be in our solar system, and there's a lot of amateur astronomers out there, amateur cosmologists out there who would see such things if that was in our solar system, you know. Another thing you have to ask ourselves is, what you should ask ourselves is, are we creating these things ourselves through our conscious thinking, our collective thinking? Are we creating these objects because we want to see these objects, we want to have that visitation from other planets and things like that, we want it to be real? So as a collective consciousness, if you like, maybe not completely all around the globe, but certainly as a collective consciousness enough to be able to create images of these things, because we do create our own realities. Let's not forget that everything we see around us has been created. We're only here as an aspect of our higher selves, you know, and this planet and everything in on it actually has been created by a higher consciousness. So I mean, it's perfectly reasonable to expect that we've created that ourselves, these images, you know. But it certainly does give pause for thought. And when you think about the humongous vastness of the universe, it's just phenomenally huge. mind-boggling. We can't even visualize it in that sense. And certainly, ones such as Professor Brian Cox, cosmologist in the UK, is very well known. He says himself, like, one thing that really gets him, that's really mind-blowing, just one of the many things that's mind-blowing about the universe, is that there are absolutely trillions of galaxies out there. And if they're of a similar size to ours, each one contains at least 400 billion stars. So we're talking 400 billion solar systems. Yeah, I never got so emergency vehicle go past, thank you very much. It's all going on behind me here. So told you it's a very busy road. Yeah, so trillions of galaxies, 400 billion stars or solar systems. Times that, wow, it's just absolutely mind-boggling. And when you take that the universe, as far as we know, so far it's been calculated to be 13.5 billion years old. We, as a solar system, are about 4.5 billion years old. Yeah, I think we are, as a planet, something like 3.5 billion years old. I may have got those figures mixed up a little bit, but it's around about that. That means there are other star systems out there that are 10 billion years older than ours. And you would think that in all that time, when you think about the advancements that we've made just over the last couple of hundred years since the start, say the 18th, 17th, 18th, especially the 18th century and the 19th century, and then throughout the 20th century, the advances that we've made in technology and science and things like that, and then even just in the last 20 years with technology, the advancements, the huge leaps that we've made since our computer age started and so on. So if we've done that in, say a couple of hundred years, how far advanced should these other beings be after 100 million years, or even a few million years, or a billion years? How far advanced should they be ahead of us? And in that sense, why haven't we heard from them? Why haven't they contacted us? Why haven't they made themselves known? And there's obviously theories on that. Either we're too primitive for their liking, or have been up till now, and they see that now that we're making advancements, or maybe they're coming along to scout things out to see how far along we are. Then when they see that we're still killing each other off and mass murders and all kinds of things like that, they say, nope, still not there yet. And then they buzz off. Still too primitive. So give them another 100,000 years or whatever, and they might have sorted themselves out by then. So that could be, that's one theory. Or they're just not interested. That's another theory. They're just not interested in exploring beyond their own solar system or their part of the universe. Perhaps we're too far away for them to be interested in us. Or another theory, perhaps they are on the way to us. Because some of those star systems that, say 10 billion years older and so on like that, they may no longer exist. We see only parts of the universe through all these powerful telescopes. Is it the James Webb telescope now and so on? We only see parts of the universe, and don't forget, that's all in the past. We're only seeing what was reflected hundreds, thousands of light years ago, millions of light years ago. So we're talking millions, perhaps even further back. They may no longer exist. They may be dead stars now, black holes and things like that. So it could well be that they are on the way, looking for other planets or other solar systems to populate. That's also a possibility. So maybe there is a Battlestar Galactica out there somewhere. Or if they're so far advanced, but perhaps they're not even in this dimension, maybe they've gone to another dimension, another universe. So they haven't bothered to come this far, or perhaps they did and thought, no, not interested in that, so they go off to another universe. You know, that's a possibility as well. It's all theoretical, we don't know for certain. But it does seem strange that we could be the only ones here. I mean, anyone, I'm sure every one of you at some point has looked up at the sky, seen a nice starry sky, or seen it on images of it or whatever, and thought, surely we can't be the only ones, you know, that has a solar system with life in it. Surely we're not the only planet in the whole universe that contains organic life in this form that we enjoy. Surely we're not alone in that way. Yet a lot of religions, especially fundamentalist religions, will have it that way. They won't accept that there's anything other than life on Earth, because that's how God created it. You know? I mean, during my time as a Jehovah's Witness, the theory that I was given was the watchmaker theory. And that was populated, I presume they still use that to explain why we're alone. And the watchmaker theory is the fact that to make a good watch, you need hundreds of components, cogs and jewels and levers and springs and so on. And they all got to fit together precisely in a certain order, precisely just so, to make the hands of that clock or that watch turn and keep time, to be precise. And you could say, well, that's a good analogy. That's a great way to describe how this solar system perhaps works. But I'm not seeing that as seeing, you know, as proof that we're alone in this whole universe. So how alone are we? Well, I guess at some point in time we'll find out. And maybe with the increase of all these extraterrestrial sightings, as in ships or lights or whatever it happens to be, unexplained phenomenon, and the increase of channeled beings who apparently are galactic beings and so on from distant planets, perhaps that is true. I can't say hand on heart that it isn't. I can't say hand on heart that it is. I've not had that experience. I've not had any sightings. I've not experienced the extraterrestrial phenomenon. Not that I'm aware of anyways. You know, I've not seen anything like that except on TV or whatever, you know. Apart from, you know, being in touch with spirit realm, you know, talking with guides and things, but who's to say that they aren't aliens, or, if for want of a better word, extraterrestrial life? In a sense they are, you know, our higher selves and so on, because we're all energetically connected. But we're not separate from them, though. We're not alone in that sense, because we have got our guides and we have got the angels and archangels. They could be the extraterrestrials in that sense. And there is, just on that, in the book of Revelation, I know that there's angels described as, so like archangels, whatever, there's angels described as having animal heads and so on. They represent certain, it's been deduced that they represent certain things like courage and wisdom and things like that. But who's to say they don't represent other species? Perhaps those animal heads, they were described as lion or eagle or whatever, you know, perhaps they were other beings, and for John, when he wrote that was the way he could describe them. That's what they looked like. He couldn't describe them in any other way because he didn't know how. So perhaps there are other galactic beings out there and just biding the time to see how far we're going to progress over the next while. Interesting thought, guys. Again, apologies for all the background noise. Hopefully you can hear me enough over it. Perhaps should have picked a better place, and I probably will if this recording doesn't work out. Never mind. But there we go, guys. Just my thoughts on it. What are your thoughts on UFOs, extraterrestrials and such things like that? What are your views on it? I'd love to know. Until next time, guys, namaste.